Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today we are going to be going into the notes on the first chapter. This is still an introductory chapter, so we're going to be talking about some things that you probably already know as a warm-up. Today's notes are going to be two parts. The first part is going to be a review of something that you would have learned in Bio 1, homeostasis. Yes, I hear you right now. You're groaning I can hear from like across neighborhoods. You're just like, oh, homeostasis. Yes, homeostasis, guys, because that's what anatomy and physiology is all about. Right? Every organ system has something to do with homeostasis. Right? The balancing of your body and keeping you healthy. That's what it is. And the second part is we're going to go back into that directional terminology from your vocab. There's more to talk about. So let's jump in and get that done. All right. So before we start doing this, you should have some kind of handout to go along with this. As of the time of recording this, I don't know how I've set this up. I don't know if we were in school or online right now. So I don't know if I gave you something physically or if you have to print something out or if it's a Google Doc. But look on Google Classroom. There should be something there for you. Uh, that way you can keep your notes without having to keep going back to this video. So the human organism, homeostasis, that's what we're talking about right now. What is homeostasis? Something you should have learned about already in Bio 1. This is part of the keystone tests. Homeostasis is the maintenance of a relatively consistent environment in your body. That's a mouthful. What it really means is your body is trying to stay healthy. All right. Something outside your body is changing. That thing is affecting your body. So your body is fighting back and trying to stay normal. My favorite example is heat. If it gets hot outside, your body gets hot. Too hot, your body doesn't like it. So your body tries to do something to cool down or at least get rid of the heat. That's when you sweat. You sweat to get rid of that extra heat. That's homeostasis. Right? Outside environment changes, so your internal environment changes to compensate. That internal change would be sweating. Or if it's too cold, your body gets too cold, and you shiver to create more body heat. Your body is constantly trying to stay at what we call the set point. All right? On your handout, you should be filling that in right here, set point. This line right down the middle, what you're looking at in this picture is a graph from math class. You know, that 4-quadrant graph with the X and the Y axis, right? And it has the 4 quadrants. Right? What we are looking at are just 2 quadrants. Right? In math class, you would have quadrant 1. This is your X axis. This is your Y axis. So this would be quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. We're only looking at quadrant 1 and quadrant 4. We don't need anything on this side of the y-axis because we're down here is time and we don't know how to go backwards in time. So we only need these two. And we're also talking about, since I said temperature, we'll say temperature, right? This is your body temperature. As your body temperature goes up, your body tries to do something to bring it back down to normal. Right? That normal is what we call the set point. Your body temperature set point is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. So your body is constantly trying to get back to 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. If you get too cold, your body tries to warm right back up there. Right? So we're trying to get to that set point. Now, why do I have gray and white? We'll get there in a little bit. But long story short, the gray is safe. The white is dangerous. All right. Too hot, you die. Too cold, you die. All right. We want to stay in the gray area. Right. The ideal value, set point is the ideal value for whatever you're measuring. Like I said, 98.6 degrees is ideal, what you want. If we're talking, doesn't have to be temperature, we're talking about anything. We're talking about nutrients. Your body wants this much nutrients from the food you eat. If you have too many nutrients, your excretory system, you go to the bathroom, gets rid of it. If you don't have enough, your body tells you you're hungry, and hopefully you eat more and your digestive system puts more in. So everything is about this. Problem is you can't always do this, all right? That you're human, right? Nothing's perfect. So you're never quite at that set point very long. You might pass it, but you're not really going to stay. You want to fluctuate, we say, go up and down the whole thing. you fluctuate around that set point. We call this area the normal range. Right? Range meaning distance, this area here, and normal is just that you're healthy. This is your normal range. As long as you are in this gray area, you're good to go. So you should be filling that in on this handout. Normal range, this gray area of safety. As long as you're in here, you don't have to be perfect. You just got to be good. All right. Organ systems are the things that are going to control your internal environment, meaning they're going to control homeostasis. All right. Specifically, the thing that controls it is your brain, but then your brain controls the rest of your body to do all these things. Your respiratory system is going to control the amount of oxygen going in and out of your body. If you don't have enough oxygen in your body, your respiratory system will put more in. If you don't have enough nutrients in your body, your digestive system will put more in. Right? These are just examples, but all of your organ systems have something to do with homeostasis. And we're going to have two different reactions. Just reminder, we did this all in Bio 1. Please remember this stuff. These two things are confusing. Negative feedback reactions and positive feedback reactions. They are not what they sound like. All right? People think negative is bad and positive is good. No. Negative feedback reactions is a good thing because something bad is happening. Something negative is happening, so you get negative feedback. Right? Think of this one, guys. You're on American Idol, and you go up there. You don't want to go up there and embarrass yourself, right? So before you go, you're going to sing to your friends at home, and you're just going to sing to them, and you're going to say, "Hey, how did I do?" And they're going to be like, "Oh, dude, that was terrible. Right? The singing was bad." So they gave you negative feedback. Dude, that was bad. So you are going to react to that feedback. You are going to say, okay, that was bad. I better fix it because I'm going on TV. And you practice and you improve. So a negative feedback reaction is a good thing. You fix the problem. Positive feedback. You up there, you sing your heart out to your friends, and you're like, yeah, woo, that was great, yeah. So, what's your reaction? You're going to keep doing what you were doing. But what if your friends are jerks? Let's say you were singing terribly, and they said, yeah, that was great, because they don't want to make you feel bad. They're embarrassed for you. They don't want to hurt your feelings. Well, now your reaction to that positive feedback is to keep doing what you were doing, even if it was really bad. All right. So negative feedback reactions are a good thing. Positive feedback reactions can be a bad thing. All right. So let's talk about this. Negative feedback is something healthy people experience. Is going to your keystone definition for this was reduces the deviation from the set point. What that means, you are deviating from the set point. So your body goes, oh, that's bad, I should fix it. So you have a negative feedback reaction where you reduce the deviation. I mean, deviate means to go away, and then you reduce that deviation by bringing it back. Or you're deviating this way, and you reduce that deviation and bring it back to the set point. Right. Again, body temperature. You're getting too hot, so you sweat, and that's going to help you come back down. If you're getting too cold, you shiver. That helps you bring it back up. You're going for a jog, and you are running out of oxygen because you're using it all up. So your body is going to make you hyperventilate and bring more. That means breathe heavy, and that's going to bring more oxygen in. Right? Here's the example I already said. If it gets super cold outside, it's snowing, you get cold, so you shiver and your body warms back up. See, nice warm colors. Again, if you are running, you are using up your oxygen, you're running out, so you have to breathe faster. And so the faster you run, the faster you have to breathe. Positive feedback reactions. This is something that's unhealthy. Your body thinks what you're doing is good, so it's going to keep doing what it's doing. And typically, guys, your body does this for a reason. All right, your body is doing. This is a side note here. Your body is doing something bad for a good reason. All right, it's not really trying to hurt you. So this is where we're going to increase the deviation from the set point. We're going to deviate, and your body goes, yeah, that's the thing that we want. Let's keep doing that into the danger zone. So your body temperature is rising, your body's getting hot, and your body says, know what? Yes, for right now, that's a good thing. And so it is going to keep rising past the normal range into the danger zone. And now you are so hot that you could actually die. This is a bad thing, but for a good reason. All right. This is not considered homeostatic, meaning homeostasis wants you in here. It can result in death. Now, why would this happen? Well, this is actually a bad example. Let me give you a better example. A fever, right? You get a virus, you get a bacteria, and as your body temperature rises, your body goes, hey, you know what? This is going to kill that virus. It's going to kill that bacteria. Yeah, let's do this. Let's raise the temperature up really high and cook that bacteria, kill that virus, destroy everything. So your body is actually doing something very dangerous to your body for a good reason, wanting to kill the disease. And when that disease is gone, you'll go back down to normal. That's called your fever breaking. Right? Your body is actually trying to make you hot. It's keeping the sweat inside. You cannot sweat when you have a fever, right? At least you don't sweat very much. You hold all of your heat in. You kill the disease. And then once you're healthy again, your body starts sweating and you let it all out and your body temperature goes back down to normal. Right? So positive feedback is increasing it into the danger zone for a reason. It's not always a reason. Sometimes there's a mistake. That's why I said held off on this one for a second. Your blood pressure is controlled by your heartbeat. If your heart needs blood to work properly, but it also pumps blood. So if there is something wrong with your heart, then it's going to pump slower, which means it's going to pump less blood to itself, which means it's going to pump slower, which means it's going to pump less blood to itself, so it pumps slower. You get the idea. Eventually, your heart stops. So it's a positive feedback, though, because it's increasing what you're doing. Whatever is happening, it keeps happening. All right. Terminology now. Right, that's take a break for a second, pause it, walk away, shake it out. All right. Get a drink, get a snack, something. All right. I'll be here waiting. All right. I assume you're back now. All right. Terminology, going back into this stuff from the vocab, we need some other things other than directions to talk about. So body positions, if you remember the vocab, changing your body position altered the definition of the word. So let's talk about 3 basic body positions that are going to come up through anatomy and physiology. The first one is your basic position. This is called anatomic position. You're standing up straight, you're facing forward, your arms are to your sides, and your palms are facing forward. All right, I know you don't typically stand this way, but this is your typical anatomic position. The palms of your hands count as the front. In official medical documentation, you would have, they would be describing things as if you were standing this way, unless they need to talk about a different position. All right. Supine position. If you're a coroner, you would probably be using this position because a dead body on the table would be laying like this. It's basically anatomic position except laying on your back, facing upward. This picture is not 100% accurate because her hands are on her belly. They should be to her side with the palms up. I couldn't find a good picture, but you get the idea. Prone position. This is when lying straight down. Again, looks just like anatomic position, palms facing forward, just you are now facing the ground. This is typically something that you would hear if you maybe play military video games. They would say something, get prone, and you would just go down to your belly. Right. This is a maneuver to stay hidden, but in anatomy, it describes how bodies can be found in like crime scene investigations and things like that. All right, directional terminology. This is your vocab. So I'm not going to spend too much time discussing it, but I added some pictures here to help you out with it. So let's just do a quick review and then move on. Superior versus cephalic. Looking at this body standing in anatomic position, superior means above and cephalic means closer to the head. All right? In this anatomic position, they both mean the same direction, up or above something. Right? The shoulders are superior right now. Currently, the shoulders are superior to the elbow. The shoulders are more cephalic than the elbow. Right? However, in this supine position, here we go. Superior still means above, and cephalic still means in the direction of the head, but the direction of the head is now different. So now the shoulders are no longer superior to the elbow. They're on the same level, but they're still more cephalic than the elbow because they're still closer to the head. So the direction of cephalic changed. It was pointing up, now it's pointing to the side, but the body parts are no longer superior. You see how that works? Right? Body position changes the definition. Inferior and caudal are the same thing. Standing in anatomic position, the knees are inferior to the hips. The knees are more caudal than the hips. But if you're lying in supine position, they're no longer inferior. They're on the same level, but the knees are still more caudal than the hips. Right? Because your body changed, so the definitions change a bit. Proximal and distal. Please remember what I said last time in the last video. We only talk about this dealing with the limbs. So your upper limbs and your lower limbs. That's it. Do not use these words for anything else. Proximal means closer to the torso. Nearest. Proximity means how close you are. And distal sounds like distant, how far away you are. How near and how far you are from the torso. And I should specify the connection of the limb to the torso. So the elbow is more proximal than the wrist. The wrist is more distal than the elbow. And no matter how you hold your limbs, no matter how you raise your hand up in the air, it's still going to be the same thing. Same thing with the lower limbs. It's just the knee is more proximal than the ankle. The ankle is more distal than the knee. No matter how you position your limbs, those will always be the same. That's why we use these words for the limbs. Right. Anterior and ventral versus posterior and dorsal. Anterior means the direction you're facing. You know, which direction are you looking if you're standing in anatomic position? Versus ventral, which direction is your belly facing? And I said last time, it's different for other animals. For humans, animals who stand up on their legs, bipedal we say, these words are the same. But for a cat or a dog, the belly would be facing down, so ventral would be down, anterior would still be facing forward. This is human anatomy and physiology, so we're going to focus on the human terms. So for humans, these words are the same. Posterior and dorsal, also for humans, these are the same. Behind, all right? Your back muscles are posterior to your ribs, meaning your ribs are in here, going around the center of your body, or the inner of your body, and on top of that, closer to the back, is your muscles. So they are posterior, they are dorsal. All right, medial versus lateral. Medial means closer to the center. So this person's nipples are medial or more medial than the shoulders. They are closer toward the center. Lateral, the hands are more lateral than the hips. They are further from that center, sideways, all right? Only side to side. We're not talking forward or backward or up and down, anything like that. No three-dimensional talk on this one. Medial just means sideways closer to the center, lateral sideways closer or farther from the center. All right, that was a good review of vocab. Let's go back into new things. Body parts and regions. They actually have different sections to talk about. I've been saying this, your upper limb. We typically would say arm outside of anatomy physiology, but that's not actually correct, right? That from your shoulder down to your fingertips, that's not actually called your arm. That is your upper limb. It is made up of an arm, which is here from shoulder to elbow. That's your arm, right? Not the whole thing, just this one section. And then your elbow, and then your forearm. So arm, forearm, then your wrist, then your hand. We have been using wrist and hand correctly. I'm not going to add new words for that. We do have new words for the parts of your hand, but that comes later. And then, just like before, this is not called your leg. All right? This is your lower limb. It is made up of your thigh, then your knee, which I skipped, my bad. Then that is your leg. All right, that lower part between your knee and your ankle, that's the leg, not the entire thing, just this one section. So thigh, knee, leg, and then your ankle and your foot. All right, those are the terms for the limbs. Moving on to the rest of your body, the central area, the central region is made up of your head, your neck, and your trunk. I only use the word trunk because that's what your textbook uses. You also know it as your torso. I would accept that as well. Trunk or torso is fine. Your trunk or torso is its own sections. Your thorax, which is your chest area. Your abdomen, which is your belly area. You probably heard the word abs, the muscles in your belly area, right? Abdominal muscles are in your abdomen. And then your pelvis, which is your hip area. Right. And this next section, that was on the outside, so about the inside now. This confuses people. Body cavities, any space in the body that contains organs, right? Any space. Meaning people think these are going to be empty spaces. There's no such thing as an empty space in your body, guys. All right. All of the spaces are there so they can be filled with other things. So you do have spaces. They're just not empty. For instance, in your thorax, which is your chest area, you have a thoracic cavity. A cavity, a space in the thorax. It would be an empty space if you got rid of the organs, but you do have organs in that space, right? You have a heart, you have your lungs, your trachea, which is your windpipe. When you breathe through that pipe. The esophagus, which is your food pipe, part of your digestive system. All of that is in your thoracic cavity. Also, the ribs and the muscles, but I don't want to put everything in there. Your abdominal cavity, your belly area, consists of your stomach, your liver, your spleen, your pancreas, your kidneys, your intestines. Guys, I promise we were going to talk about all of these organs this year. And your pelvic cavity, your urinary bladder, your reproductive organs, your rectum. And these are all in your hip area. The empty space, I say empty with air quotes, the empty space in your pelvis, but that space is filled with organs. All right, and that is it for the first chapter's notes. All right, so you now know all the correct directional terminology and how they change. You know all the body parts and what we're going to be calling them this year. As we move on throughout the chapters, we will be using this terminology to explain certain body parts. So for now, go back to Google Classroom and try to see if I left an assignment for you. All right, as of the time of filming this, I did not plan the lesson yet, so I don't know what is going to be on Google Classroom for you. So go and look and see if there is something there to do. Good luck, and I will see you next time.